I got everything you need to settle your septic needs right in the back of this truck. Welcome to part one of our mini aerobic septic system. If you have a gray water line, or maybe you even have a cabin that you use a compost toilet and you want a place to dispose all of your other fluids, this might be the right thing for you. We're gonna think about it, build it, and test it, and we're gonna have this be a couple part series. This is part one, and it's go time. So first, let me describe the problem that I have. I bought a house in the country with a lot of unknown preconditions when we bought it, and it had a new septic system, but then soon after I found out that they had a separate septic system that was supposed to be for the laundry for a gray line. But then after time, I discovered that this gray water system was not just gray water, that they had plumbed in a kitchen sink with it, which means that it has bio water or black water on the same system as the gray water. The issue with this is now my gray water side gets plugged up with stuff from the kitchen sink. Food and things that make it past the strainer on the kitchen sink, and then we got oils and all kinds of things that are going down that and creating black water in my gray water system. So today, I'm not trying to solve a full septic system. I have a good septic system for the other side of my house. All the solid waste from bathrooms, we know what those are. This is not for that. This is gonna be a 2-inch system, not a 3 or 4-inch system. So since we will not be having to break down heavy solids and paper, we're not gonna need near as much water capacity to break down those solids. So here's the thing that we're gonna test. I've bought 55-gallon drums to have the 3 phases of the black water breakdown. First off, we're gonna have our sludge and scum tank, and then in our intermediate, we're gonna have an aerobic tank where I'm gonna inject water bubbles to help speed up the bacterial cleaning process. And then in our third tank, this is gonna be where the cleaner water goes, and it's gonna get pumped out. And instead of doing a rock bed or a leach field, because this is getting aerobically cleaned, we're gonna spray this water out onto the lawn with a sprinkler system using a pump. So this is gonna mimic a large size aerobic system in a lot smaller to use package. So let's talk about the supplies that I've bought. I got 6 barrels, 3 for my tanks, and then I have 3 additional barrels that I'm gonna use as risers for my tanks. So I'm gonna cut these off at whatever height I need, and then they'll have their own plastic lid that I can use to take off and maintenance the underside. So if you haven't looked at the costs of things, just a riser can be around $100 by itself. So the cost that I'm into these blue barrels is about $45. They were about, I think they were selling 2 for $15 in my area from a little local company. That's just what they're doing right now. But this is the part where this is your responsibility. I did my job to research the chemicals that were in these barrels and make sure that we're gonna have a safe system, because if you had some kind of harsh chemical in these, then your bacteria is never gonna work because it's gonna kill them off. Let's talk about tank 1 first. And let's talk about the riser setup. As I mentioned, this is gonna be a 2-inch pipe system. First off, I bought 2 different types of blue tanks. The first tank narrows at the top for a smaller lid. The second tank has a straight up and down profile with no narrowing sides. This is the one I'm going to use for my riser. That way when I cut this off, this will fit on top over the other one just like this. So I'll be able to bury this tank, and then this one, we can bury it as high as we need, and then it'll have a lid on it and we can get down to the lid underneath. because my existing plumbing is probably about 2 feet in the ground. So we have 3 of these for 3 risers. That's pretty simple. You'll get to see all that as we do the install with the dirt work. The first tank is going to have our inlet import, and it needs to be about 4 inches higher than the outlet outport on the opposite side. So this tank is designed to have heavy solids that'll fall to the bottom, and then it's going to have scum and floaty foam that's going to be at the top. And the goal is going to be to get clean water from the middle to flow to the next tank. Now on to our middle tank. Our middle tank is going to be a 300-gallon air pump, and I might set that up inside a 5-gallon bucket or something that I can enclose it and keep it even drier and cleaner. But it's going to be placed above this lid in the riser compartment. These hoses are going to go through the lid, and then these stones will rest at the bottom of the tank, and they're going to create bubbles. I've got 4 of these stones, and they're going to create bubbles something like this. Now on to our third tank. After the sludge is processed, then the bacteria is going to clean up all of the intermediate waste. Then that clean water from the center of this is going to flow over into the last barrel. This barrel is going to be where our pump is at, and I believe this is supposed to be around 20 inches when the pump will kick on. And so as laundry or heavy water flows come in, it's going to fill this up, kick on, and then it'll keep up with it, and then it'll have a range that it turns on and off. So hopefully this float will save the motor on the pump, because it won't be kicking on and off as frequently. It'll have a on time cycle and an off time cycle. And we will have a garden hose that comes up through this lid, and then it'll go out to a sprinkler line system for the yard. All right, for my tank ports, I want to try and hit out of this curve. I want to be in the flats. So the center of this hole for this barrel ended up being about 11 inches down. So on the opposite side, I want to drop that another 4 inches down. That way the gravity of the flow will have enough pressure to then push the water out the other side. Okay, so these 2-inch pipe bulkhead fittings, they take a 3-inch hole saw for the outside diameter. This is like a sawed knife, and it works great for cleaning up soft material burrs like plastics. For my secondary tank, since it's going to be a lot cleaner water, I'm only going to have a 2-inch drop between my inlet and outlet. I figure with the heavier solids of the sludge tank, it might need a little more water pressure to help get past maybe some of the sludge. I'm not sure, but this one I want it to be a fuller tank, so as much air and time can be spent on this one. These bulkhead fittings come with a soft, pliable gasket. So we'll put this on here and then push it from the inside out so that all the water pressure will be going against this seal. These are reverse threads. Now to the most expensive part of our project, the pipe fittings. Along with the fittings, we had to have a hole saw for the barrels. I went ahead and bought a 2-inch PVC pipe cutter. And then for our sprinkler system side, I have a banding pinch clamp tool. In order to get the most out of each volume in each tank, I'm going to bury each tank the depth it takes to make these two outlets deeper, so it'll step down 4 inches and then 2 inches to the next one. This will also make each riser head height different. Each one of these bulkhead adapters is going to require 2 threaded coupler collars threaded to smooth. One for the outside and one for the inside. Each inlet and outlet is going to take a T-pipe. I am not impressed with these cutters. I'll probably go back to using a hacksaw, but this blade on a Schedule 40 pipe starts to bend. Back to the hacksaw. Overall, we have a tiered system so that we can keep the pipes as high as we can with the downflow decreasing each time, letting gravity dump from this tank to this tank. We have about a 4-inch drop here and a 2-inch drop between here and here. Inside the tanks, we are going to have our input coming in here and going out here, and then our output will be similar, a little bit lower, and the output fresh water will come out here and then go to the next tank. I'll show you what that looks like. We have our input going this way and our output going that way. We have these head pipes in case scum kind of builds up. It won't come over here and clog this. Additionally, instead of just doing an elbow down, we have the tops of these clear so that you can unclog these if they get clogged up. You can just kind of shove something in there and clean out the drain. I'm not going to glue the fitting into here or here. It's pretty deep fitting. That way I can pull these out if I ever need to pump this barrel. In our aeration tank, we have our pump. We have our manifold to distribute it. I have 4 holes for each of the stones, and I've spread them out so that the air can be all around the base. I also bought a white bucket to put this into. I'll set that up when I see how everything fits. The third barrel now has the pump installed with our single entrance, and the pump has its float. We'll set that up a little better when we get there, but this one's ready to go. I have a 3/4 inch tube. This cable's to help you pull the pump up without pulling on the fitting. And then also I needed an outlet hole. I'll probably put some sealant on this later. We'll have this going out to the sprinklers, and this will be vertical coming from the sprinkler line, and it's got this swivel head so that we can detach it. But once again, we'll cut that all to length once we get over to the yard. Okay, so this completes part 1. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you're ready to see some digging and then some testing on this, then stick around for part 2. It's coming up right after this. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, support us however you can, and we'll see you on the next video.